Glad to have you. Now, Nigeria's security problem is not showing any sign of abating. The latest episode is in Niger State, where gunmen released a video showing the travelers they abducted on Sunday on a highway, begging the state government to facilitate their release with payment of 500 million naira ransom. Meanwhile, armed gunmen dressed in military uniform overran Government Science College in Kagara town of the state on Tuesday night, killing at least one student, abducting 27 and 12 family members. But first, let's share with you the video of kidnapped travelers with you.
Ina bikan to. Dauko bikan. Roket din ma abashi. Wannan kan ma ya isa su gani. In an gwamnatin ka hanzar ta ya kawo bolar ba ko me ya suka turo insha Allah. Za a masu condom. Ya Allah. Mun jawabi a daina wulaƙanta. Ba mu shiga gari sai dai daji. Ka gan su haka? Mun yi sama da mutum 200. Miliyan 2 wuce wasu mutanen matan Adamu. Yau haka. Nan dukan mu ba mu shiga gari sai daga daji sai daji. Sama roket ya zo. Sama roket kallo. Kawo ta nan shiga da ita. Bidiyo ne? Bidiyo za a yi. Bari a ɗan raƙa masu rafin. Kai gore mu kai.
Assalamu alaikum mutane Neja, don Allah muna neman dauki.
Suna da ganin halin da kuke ciki. Yi bayani.
Don Allah a taimaka mana dan Allah. Don Allah a taimaka mana. Don Allah a taimaka mana. Don Allah miliyan 500 ake so, don Allah ku taimaka mana. Don Allah miliyan 500 muke so, don Allah a taimaka mana.
Niger State, Babajide. Yeah, the nation really under siege. I don't know if this is Niger State, and we've been painting that picture since last 2 weeks that all is not well. But now you've seen the video and your guess is as good as mine.
There is hardly any week we don't talk about Niger. Those 3 local governments, Shiroro, Rafi, and Munya. Rafi is where this incident took place. Every time we talk about Niger, but in our country, we raise the alarm, we talk about these things, you just see that nothing will happen. And some people will sit on social media and say, Jide is an alarmist, he doesn't like the North, that he likes to highlight the bad things happening in the North. So when I see people being killed, I should keep quiet.
Begging their state governments to come to their aid.
It's not, I don't live there. I don't live in Niger. But the people who live in Niger, they are our people. My parents used to work there. So if we see bad things, we should not talk. Look at the attitude of our people. He's trying to paint Arewa as a bad place. So I should close my mouth and watch people being killed. Now you've seen it.
Terrorized.
You've seen it.
Look at the bandits.
Before now,
look at them with RPG.
Carrying, yes.
AK-47.
Rocket propelled grenade. This is a tank buster. They are using tank busters on individuals. You want a weapon that is meant to disable armored tanks. That's the job of the RPG. They are using it just like a common weapon.
How did you get here?
Now, if you were driving, if you had security, your security forces driving in a Hilux or anything,
this RPG
if
can
they
take
fire,
them out.
Just one is enough.
Just one will take them out.
They are gone. This is what gives them the advantage. Because the conventional fighting force knows that it does not, they don't have to use the RPG on individual soldiers. you use your light weapons. But these ones, they don't care. Boko Haram will use anti-aircraft guns on individual soldiers. It gives them the advantage. This is not conventional warfare anymore. And we have been saying it that Boko Haram has entered the North Central. I'm not the only one. The chief of the IG said it. That some Boko Haram factions have moved to the North Central. I also said on this program,
people.
I said on this program, I don't know where these particular ones are Boko Haram members, but I know that last Salah, Shekau published pictures of members of his faction inside the forest in Niger State. All it takes, let people Google some of these things, they will see it there. So they have a presence there already. And when Nigerian and Cameroonian forces launched an attack on Boko Haram inside Sambisa, coming into Sambisa through Bama, they started running away and they were heading towards Niger State. I also announced it that they were heading towards Niger State. So what we are facing now, what we are seeing now, is the consequence of our not taking action. These guys have become emboldened now from mere kidnapping of people on the highways. They've now graduated to kidnapping people in large number and even attacking schools.
Dosun, we have a big problem here. This is not, this is like a state of emergency. As in...
Well, we knew we would get to this point because our attitude to issues, they are quite strange in this country. We are able to analyze, sometimes get the intelligence, and then no action is taken. There could be so many factors for the inaction. One, the number of soldiers we have, because obviously, from the picture we can see, this has gone beyond the police and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. Completely. It has gone beyond them. Because what even the Nigerian army...
When they are parading this kind of...
Yes. What even the Nigerian army has can't tackle them. That's one. Two, the equipment, apart from the men. We've said it here, the government has said we are going to recruit
We're told
more.
that they invest massively in weapons.
Yes,
as
but
the terrorists.
How do you tackle them when you don't invest? Or when you even want to invest and then you have challenges investing?
You can't do it.
You can't do it. These guys, whether they buy it off the shelf from somewhere, whether they manufacture locally, they get it.
To black markets.
They get it. Unfortunately, we go through the conventional markets. You order for your aircraft, you are told to wait for 2 years. You order for this, you are told to wait for 1 year. So while they get access to supplies easily, no qualms for them. But then also, we must now ask ourselves, have we done enough with the level of equipment that we have and men? I'm not sure. Because like it's been said over and over, without intelligence-driven security plan, there is no way you'll be able to get all of these things right. For the number of people who went into that school, who did the damage on the road, getting 57 travelers, I'm sure you know there must be in some number. So for you to move, like some of the senators, House of Reps members,
there's the pictures of those wedding guests that they showed to us yesterday. Not knowing that overnight
they're going
they
back
were
to
going
the school.
to do this. In fact, the governor, Abulolo, the governor of Niger State,
Was the president
was no. And I've not read that we bombed the place. I know we have not bombed the place. It's not even. I've not read. We have not bombed the camp. We have not killed a single bandit leader. The whole of that Zamfara, Katsina, right up to Sokoto and the Kebbi border. They know all the leaders of the bandits. We have not killed a single one.
Why?
I don't know. At least if you kill even one of the leaders, then the others will learn a lesson. At least we will see the sign that we are working. Even Buhari Ndaji that died, we were not, it was not our security forces that killed Buhari Ndaji. It was Dogo Gide that killed Buhari Ndaji because Buhari Ndaji rustled the cattle of his in-laws. It was not the army. I saw somebody posted something on Facebook that Nigerian forces killed Buhari Ndaji. You don't know what you are talking about. Nigerian forces never killed Buhari Ndaji. It was Dogo Gide that led his men to his camp and killed him inside Dan Sadao Forest.
Bandits against bandits.
Yes, Dan Sadao Forest in Zamfara. I'm saying we have not killed their leaders. I know what I'm talking about. Let's even make an example of some of their leaders. They are walking around free. They even send people to the market.
Negotiating.
People know them.
Asking for ransom.
Somebody was saying the other day that, Sheikh Gumi knows them, that they should ask Sheikh Gumi questions. It's not only Sheikh Gumi that knows them. Critical stakeholders in Katsina. The government, the big people in Katsina, wallahi Allah, they know the leaders of these bandits. Naren said the Grima Allah, they know the leaders of these bandits. But we have not killed their leaders. It's like we are treating bandits with kid gloves. They want to set up their own government within a government.
Yes.
This is what we are facing.
Yep. That's why they are asking for amnesty. They are making
No,
demands.
I think it's the Zamfara caucus of the PDP.
Yeah, in the
National Assembly, saying that weakness is a sign of a total lack of faith in the capacity of your armed forces to take them out. That's what it means.
Is there anywhere in the world that we have kidnapping as rampant as this?
Well, there are countries where wars are going on within. And it's, but we are not at war. We are not. What we are experiencing is just failure to plan. We assume all of the time that the country is at peace. So when we had the resources, we did not grow our armed forces. We did not plan. Otherwise, in terms of equipment and recruitment, we shouldn't be where we are. We lost it. And then, at the time when we're having challenges, the economy has crumbled. So how do you employ? How do you buy enough equipment to fight at this time? It's a bit tough. It's tough. And that is what we are going to have to contend with for a while, until we're able to block these people, give them access, because that's what we need to do now. It's just like the Boko Haram people. Once they have access into your territory, they'll do the damage because they have the equipment. So the only way is to stop. And like we have said, when you have 200 people, 100 people moving to commit a crime, and there is no way you are stopping them before they get to where they are going. It's impossible to do again. Very impossible.
Actually, the president does not seem to understand the magnitude, or some people will say, we don't know, maybe the way he has handled it so far. But yes, we can commend the governors, the way the governors, they've been shuttling, especially the northern governors and everything. But some people have the opinion that if the president had handled this faster and earlier, than this, that we wouldn't have found ourselves in this kind of situation.
I think it is, talking about banditry, is unfair to totally blame him for the present state of things. Banditry, especially in northern Nigeria, got worse during the Jonathan regime. I remember sending my reporter then, Shagari Sambo, Somna Shagari Sambo to go and do a story about banditry in some parts of Katsina and Zamfara. And he won the Wole Soyinka Investigative Award for that story. Why did I send him to do that story? Because in one day, in one market day in Zamfara, bandits killed more than 90 persons. They stormed the market, killed more than 90 persons. So I felt this situation had so degenerated. That was in Zamfara. In Katsina, on the day Goodluck Jonathan went there to campaign for the 2015 election, they killed about 100 people in one day. This is not fiction. It shows that this problem had always been there.
It's been there.
What did we do?
All this while.
Because at the beginning, when you don't crush them at the beginning, you watch them grow. You watch them acquire weapons. You are treating them with kid gloves. Some of them, you call them, you have their phone numbers.
No,
you simply beg them, please leave my area. Don't get close to my area. You can go elsewhere, but please don't come to my area. Gradually, they become so big, they will stop listening to you. That's what we are seeing. How can we deal with a situation in which not long ago, bandits surrounded a mosque in Zamfara and took away the imam,
The chief imam.
and other worshippers.
Okay. I have our first caller. Ola is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Ola.
How are you? Good evening.
Good evening, Ola.
And good evening to Babagide and the other man there.
Thank you.
We all know this problem. The problem has been on for a very long time now. But my concern now as a Yoruba man, and I'm happy that the three of you are Yorubas too, as a Yoruba man, is that now they are in Niger. That I can tell you that between now and June, they will occupy the whole of Kwara. And once they occupy Kwara, that means they're in the southwest already. So what are we going to do? Do we fold our arms and hope that the solution will come from somewhere?
It's right. There is no Dogo Gide, the bandits that killed Buhari Ndaji, already these days moves into, from Niger, where he's in control, he moves into Kwara. Because from Mokwa, you have some of them in Mokwa already, which is close to Jeba. They move from Mokwa into Kwara. And they can even, those forests connect communities. So they can move from there even into Oyo State. So this is the thing, he's saying the truth. When you fail to take action, you allow them to expand. And when they expand, maybe it happened with Boko Haram.
We've gotten out of hand.
Boko Haram actually began, the seeds of Boko Haram were actually, I would say, were planted around 2001. From 2003. Gradually. It's not until 2009 when they rioted that you say Boko Haram began. No, they had been there before 2009.
We lost the battle before 2009. We lost it. Because we keep watching.
We were watching them acquiring weapons. When you pay, we will pay them ransom. We will eventually pay them ransom. They will say they will not pay. It's a lie. We will eventually pay ransom. When we pay ransom, they will go and acquire weapons with it. 80% of it will be used to buy weapons. Because the more weapons you have, the stronger you are as a bandit commander. And everyone will respect you within their own cycle and they will fear you.
Okay, I'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangouts. We'll be right back after this breather. Treat. Don't go away. To your award-winning program, Journalist Hangouts. Nigeria's former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has earned plaudits for indelible marks he left after 66 months in the saddle. General Buratai, who resigned from the service in January, is credited with implementing several innovations in the Nigerian Army. TVC's defense correspondent, Sifon Essien, gives an insight into his reign as Army Chief.
Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai became the 26th Chief of Army Staff of Nigeria. He was appointed to the position by President Muhammadu Buhari on July the 13th, 2015. And for 66 months, the Army Chief pursued his vision of a professionally responsive Nigerian army in the discharge of his constitutional roles. His appointment, just like his colleagues, came at a time when the Boko Haram insurgents had instilled fear in the psyche of many Nigerians, and the military was losing its officers and men in large numbers. According to insiders, the morale of the troops were low. Welfare was not given adequate attention, so getting the army to discharge its constitutional role was an uphill task, but Lieutenant General Buratai braved the waters. In spite of the asymmetric, complex, and international dimension to the Boko Haram terrorism and its affiliation with the Islamic State, the Nigerian Army leadership set out with a premium on troops' welfare by ensuring allowances, especially of those in the front line, were paid in good time. This, in no small way, bolstered the morale of troops to keep pace with the mutating nature of the counter-terrorism operation by engaging multiple yet dynamic war strategies. Within a year, a lot of grounds had been covered with limited equipment. Territories that had fallen to the insurgents were reclaimed. The insurgents were further pushed into the Sambisa and the fringes of the Lake Chad. A prize strategy introduced by Lieutenant General Buratai in the counter-terrorism operation was the establishment of the super camps and rapid response squads. The strategy, in spite of its limitations, helped in harnessing resources, equipment, and manpower for more effective deployment within the theater of operation. Equipment continued to come in trickles, largely due to availability of resources and the challenges of foreign arms procurement. In early 2020, the Army took delivery of what was described as the single largest procurement of armored fighting vehicles from China that were mostly deployed to Operation Lafia Dole. The Nigerian Army, in collaboration with other security agencies, continues to dominate areas of combat as well as sustain operations against the Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters.
When you look at what happened in Sri Lanka and in other areas that had faced something similar to what you have, you should know that these guys have been too wonderful.
In the northeast and north central of the country, banditry and kidnapping for ransoms gained ascendancy. The Nigerian Army, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Buratai, borrowed a leaf from its operations in the northeast by establishing a super camp in Katsina State to tackle bandits who in recent years had begun to operate with high-caliber weapons. Working in collaboration with other security forces, the Army has made a lot of strides in stemming the tide of banditry in the region. The Nigerian Army, through its Department for Civil Military Affairs, under the leadership of Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, carried several quick impact projects across the country, especially within the theaters of operations. The aim is to foster cordial relations with the host communities while also gathering intelligence needed for operations. In September 2020, Lieutenant General Buratai inaugurated several projects in Osun State, including a hospital and Bailey Bridge. The projects are targeted at winning the hearts and minds of the people in the state. The leadership under Lieutenant General Buratai brought about the creation of new divisions and commands. Among them are 6th Division Port Harcourt, 7th Division Maiduguri, and 8th Division Sokoto to combat terrorism and the security challenges the country is faced with. Also created are the Special Forces Command, Nigerian Army Women Corps, Nigerian Army Special Forces Training School in Buni Yadi, Yobe State, and the Cyber Warfare Command.
We used to clamor for those of us who are retired and some civilians who can come in and think for the army, which is what is obtainable elsewhere. And it took him that courage and the will to establish this center. And since this establishment, the center has done so well in terms of researches, in terms of human resource development. And he has always supported every effort to make sure that the center has a sound footing.
Even the success we expect this current one to, to consolidate on was actually the foundation he laid. I believe that he had very good intention. He was really determined. He was really out to ensure that the Nigerian Army finishes the job.
For the wartime general, as he was fondly called, the Nigerian army under his command took giant strides.
That I am living with wealth of knowledge and experience that I will always cherish. Working with you all in this learning environment has been fantastic and worthy experience for me. I enjoin you to support the new Chief of Army Staff as he pilots the affairs of the Nigerian Army. Once again, thank you, please.
66 months of Tukur Buratai as the Chief of Army Staff. Babajide.
Yes, no doubt about it. It's been one of the best ever in terms of the achievements that he recorded. No doubt about it. When you look at those service chiefs of that generation, the Chief of Air Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, they did tremendously well in terms of welfare of staff, in terms of infrastructure. You know, they came at a very difficult time.
Yes, we reviewed the one of Chief of Air Staff like some weeks back, and
they came in a very difficult time, but they've done so well. I remember at the time that this former Chief of Army Staff took over, our soldiers were running away from battle. It was so shameful that the Defense Minister of Niger Republic was abusing us. He had an altercation with Olukolade, the then defense spokesman. He was abusing us. That your soldiers are cowards, that you run away from battle. Burate put an end to all that, because he provided what was needed. And he kept reminding them that there is no reason to not stand up and fight. In fact, when in 2015, some Nigerian soldiers ran away from battle in Gaydam, he warned them seriously that it should never happen again. And we saw a new approach, a new determination. The era of soldiers staying in the city and refusing to go into the bush to fight. He put an end to that. And you can see, in terms of training, the training schools that he created. In fact, when you talk about infrastructure, it's done tremendously well. You look at the Army University in Biu, the training school for special forces and all that. Yes, he obviously didn't achieve all of his aims. But the truth is, if he solved all the problems, what would the new man do? No one solves all the problems. The best governors in the history of Lagos didn't solve all of the problems of Lagos. Someone else will come and take over from where you stopped. And that's why one is confident that the new Chief of Army Staff has a very good platform on which to stand, because his former boss did so well, and he has given him a good pedestal upon which to go and prove his own mettle. So Burate has done really well, no doubt about it. And you know, he's someone who also leads by example. When you see him, if you see him jogging, even younger officers do not have his endurance, because he can jog for 30 kilometers. That's the sort of person that he is. And his counterpart at the Air Force also had that similar fitness. For their age, he's tremendous, he's commendable. You know, so we wish him good luck in his
new assignments.
Yes.
Doctor, we faced a lot of challenges. I would tell you that it's not easy. As in, during this time, Boko Haram went haywire. What's the name of these factions? We had factions within Boko Haram, and we had the Lake Chad siege. So many things to fight for. But during this time, he was able to, hold his own.
I think he did well. The first thing that came to my mind when I heard the announcement that the service chiefs had been told to go was whoever is coming in, unfortunately, has a benchmark that is likely to easily be seen as a failure if he's not careful. Because we had all of these happening before the last set of service chiefs came in. Boko Haram in 14 local government area in Borno State. They were in part of Yobe. They were striking in Adamawa virtually every day. They had the opportunity to also enter into Abuja, some in Lagos at some point. All of that is gone now. Whoever comes in, and whoever is there now as Chief of Army Staff and the other service chiefs, they are endangered, so to say.
Because they have
there is a basis.
A big shoe to fill.
They have
already, it shouldn't even be involved in the military.
It shouldn't.
But security, police,
there is nothing you can do.
They are overwhelmed already. You can't handle this.
He had more than 5 years. And he did so well. So the next set of services will never have as much time as this one.
Because there is even a basis
the president
to criticize them.
will go in 2 years.
Yes.
The president will
so
leave.
a new person will choose
to match the achievements of the people that they have supplanted will be impossible.
Impossible.
But
Almost.
they just have to go out there, serve their nation, give their best.
Knowing that they are racing against
and the
time.
nation will be grateful.
Yes.
Our nation must be grateful to people who truly serve the people. And General Burate has done his bit. No doubt about it. He's done well. He's done well.
No doubt he did well.
All right. Finally, it appears Nigeria's economy is going from bad to worse. The latest consumer price index, which measures inflation, increased by 16.47% in January 2021. This is 0.71% higher than the rate recorded in December 2020. According to the report, the country recorded its highest inflation rate in more than 3 years, while food inflation rose to its highest since July 2008. Imagine inflation, double digits, in a long time.
When you look at all the major inflation components, they rose sharply in the month of January. Food inflation, for example, rose to 20.5%, and core inflation itself 11.85%. This was anchored largely on the prices of food items: bread, potatoes, yam, meat, fruits, vegetable, fish, oils and fats. With food prices going sky high, as we saw in the January report, definitely core inflation will definitely increase significantly as well. And then, of course, air travel. Air travel represent one of the highest upward climb, that we have seen in our history. And medical services too, hospital services, passenger road transport too went up. Pharmaceutical products, vehicle spare parts, housing maintenance, repair, transport, virtually everything has gone up. The hope that Nigerians have for the second quarter is that with the opening of the borders, food prices will come down in the second quarter. Okay. But there are many people who are not even convinced about that. Why? Because we are facing crisis. The farmer headers crisis is still on. Yeah. All of our major food belts are affected. When you talk of the Southwest, the number one food belt is the Ibarapa area, is the Okeogun. Okeogun is the number one food basket of the Southwest. Look at what we are facing there. People cannot go to their farms because some criminals masquerading as headsmen have taken over people's farms, raping people's wives on their farmlands. Some, like Dr. Aborode, slaughtered in broad daylight because he came to set up a big farm in his state. I was reading the account of a woman whose husband-to-be was kidnapped. They shot the husband and kidnapped the wife. They were going to a farm that the man had just set up. So, if we keep having security problems, when we are even talking about Niger, you know, when it comes to agriculture, Niger too,
it ranks very high.
It ranks very high in our country. They have so much land. It's the largest state by land mass.
Yes.
But a lot of farmers are fleeing their communities. You go to the Shiroro area, many of the farmers have fled. Every day people are running away from their communities because bandits are not allowing people to work in their farms. You go to Katsina, bandits are chasing people away from their farms. And if you are not, in some cases they tell you must pay. So if people must pay bandits out of the little that they earn from their farm produce, what will they? What will be their own profit? Their gain at the end of the day. So this is the thing. We need to also improve on security before we can be sure that food prices would go down in the second quarter, because we can't afford to continue to have negative growth.
Security has
it's a major factor in high food prices. It's a major factor. People will not go to their farms, and if they don't go to their farms, what are we going to harvest?
The people who were slaughtered in Borno, they were farmers.
On their farmland, rice farm.
They came all the way from Sokoto, according to what were the reports. And they were killed in Borno. So who will go to those farms again? So it means if you plant, you are not sure of harvesting.
There are many places in Borno. See Mate, for example. Mate is so unsafe that nobody wants to go to Mate and plant. And they can grow rice there to feed the whole state.
It's even about the biggest.
Yes, they can feed the whole state in that local government alone. But who wants to go? Just a few days back, there was another attack by Boko Haram on the army base in Mate there. In Kalabalge, Boko Haram also launched another attack, displacing soldiers from their camps. So how will people feel comfortable to stay in those places and farm? So there's no way, if we do not get a lot from our God-given land, how are we going to be able to feed our people? Are we going to be importing food from neighboring countries? If we do that, of course, given our own weak currency, the price will go up.
So, Doctor, solution?
Well, solution, let's fix insecurity. Let's fix bad roads. Let's also note that transportation is becoming a problem gradually. Spare parts, the cost going up. The cost of petrol going up. So when you put all of this, even for the little that we're able to harvest, to bring it to where they are needed, the price would have gone up. So it's just around those areas. Because once you are able to tackle the issue of food, once there is food security, a lot of things will fall in place. A lot of things. But there are so many factors surrounding it. Insecurity, bad roads, high cost of transportation, and some others. So if you tackle this, you would have even tackled so many issues.
I want to know the role of COVID-19 in all this, because most companies they've not been doing so well in terms of production, manufacturing, and everything. We've been downsizing.
COVID-19 certainly affected businesses negatively. Most companies are yet to return to full
production.
They're yet to get back on stream fully. because of COVID-19. Remember too that even we couldn't earn so much because of COVID-19, because demand for our oil went down.
Internationally.
Especially in response to lockdown. So whom are you producing for? So it came down. But we are gradually emerging out of that. But you see, that's why a lot of people don't want another lockdown. I can tell you that the aviation sector that was rated as the second fastest growing sector in 2019 is one of the worst hit.
Now, yes.
They are yet to recover. And despite the fact that airfares have gone up, they are yet to recover. Many people, as we speak, are still being owed salaries and all that. And if people don't earn so much, they won't be able to purchase so much. They won't be able to purchase so much. So this is the thing. And then the dollar, because when you were talking about even pharmaceutical concerns, pharmaceuticals are costlier now because a lot of the things that they use are imported. And you need the dollar. Our people are not getting their dollars from the official quarters. They are going to the black market to buy dollar at exorbitant rate. It is the end consumer that will bear the brunt at the end of the day. And things will get so bad that even businesses, manufacturing concerns, they won't be able to make money. Because when the cost of the commodity is too high, then our people will respond by not buying. I'm telling you that many industries in the next few months, many industries will go down.
And the cost of living is not higher.
Well, it's just
more expensive.
It's just it's just the same circle that we are going around, because you can't have all of these things and think they.
Okay. I have Wale from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, Ayo. Good evening.
Good evening, Wale.
Good evening, Baba.
My encyclopedia. Good evening.
I greet you, sir.
You. And Dotun, it is well with you.
Thank you, sir.
This question of insecurity, we have to take it very, 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 very serious. This graveyard silence by the president will not help anybody. He should declare a state of emergency on security. But by the time they finish with the Northeast, they've already moved to Northwest, and North Central is nowhere to go. The next place is Southwest.
Yes. That's the thing.
Thank you, Wale. Thank you, Wale.
You know, the president has powers that he's not using. I'm sorry to say, the president. Look at what Joe Biden is doing. Joe Biden is coming up with executive orders. The president can make some executive orders that will allow him to directly take charge of certain situations. It doesn't.
You want to see him move faster.
No, it's not a question of amending the constitution. No, that's not what we are saying. Executive order that will cause him to be able to take direct charge of certain things.
And some people want to say they want him to communicate with Nigerians more. To assure Nigerians.
Yes, so people are saying, no, we did not vote for Garuba Shehu and his younger brother, Femi, that they voted for the president. The president must communicate to them.
So that we know that.
At least there will be some level of confidence that the president is talking. I agree with that. But we still need to move very fast, like you have said. We need to move very fast before we run into deeper trouble.
We have to stop the rampaging bandits from taking over the Southwest. Whatever has to be done must be done. Because this looks like their main target now. If they overrun the Southwest, then we are in trouble. You know, when the Americans came up with a list of states in Nigeria that their citizens should avoid, no state of the Southwest was listed. But the way we are going now, with insecurity creeping into the Southwest, maybe the next time they come up with such list, this thing, you will see a Southwest state or two represented.
Okay, before we go, Jire,
Yeah.
Today is Madam Aisha Buhari's birthday. She's 50 today. The fan of Journalist Hangout. Madam is 50.
Happy birthday,
the
Madam.
First Lady of the Federal Republic of
Happy
Nigeria.
birthday.
Madam Aisha Buhari, she's 50 today.
Smart First Lady, lover of the downtrodden, lover of the masses. She speaks her mind.
Yeah, speaks her
and
mind.
That's why some of us love her, we cherish her, because we always feel that this is a First Lady for us. Because she speaks her mind, she speaks the mind of
people.
The ordinary Nigerian. She
Gaga.
wants the progress of the country. She wants the success of her husband. She's been misunderstood, but she's been an exemplary First Lady.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, I think after Miriam Babangida,
Yes.
in terms of outlook, we've seen some activity in the office of the First Lady.
Yes.
Not negative, because we saw some negative activities in that office before now, but positive.
Future Assured.
All right.
That's our NGO.
Future Assured.
Yes.
You know, handled by Mero Saliu, you know, wife of the former chief of army staff, Saliu Ibrahim, the Kogi man.
Okay. I'm sure
she's done well.
She's done well. Look for her to get her own.
We are missing her. We hope that she will come back home.
She will change her mind.
And
return.
And that's all on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. Don't forget to join us on Sunday for Sunday edition of Journalist Hangout by 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. 2 hours on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.